Now let's get into this. Idris Elba. Now you all know who he is. He's a nice looking black man, and he's now married, and he is not defining himself as a black actor anymore. Excuse me. He actually received backlash, and he actually decided to fire back because he says that he's standing by his statement that he no longer identifies himself as a black actor. He says that he went on to further explain his reasoning behind his recent comment. Excuse me. There isn't a soul on this earth that can question whether I consider myself a black man or not, Elba began. Okay. He says, being an actor is a profession, like being an architect. They are not defined by race. However, if you define your work by your race, that is your prerogative. Lie. Okay, so Elba tweets comes after he received that backlash. Then he made these comments with an interview with Esquire UK. And he said in the interview, he said that describing himself as a black actor put him in a box in regards to his career. Now, I want to stop right there because I thought about that when I was reading this, and I thought, about these comments and stuff and how people, take it quickly the wrong way. And there's a lot of times people hear something and they'll jump right on it and respond instead of taking the time to think about it before they respond. Now, I can see where he's saying that if you only identify yourself as a black actor, and we're talking about, him being a black actor, then guess what? They will put you in a box because they may not be looking for a specific, they may not be looking for a black actor. And so if you put yourself in a box, then you're probably going to get less gigs offered to you. You know what I'm saying? But if you just put down that you are an actor and don't identify by your race, then guess what? When they contact you and you can get that opportunity, they may even they might have been looking for someone other than black, but when you show them that you have skills, you're talented, and you're the best person or the best man, we're talking about him as being an actor, we're talking about Idris. So, and it could be any other actor, but when you can show them that you are the best man for that part, you can change minds and you can also change hearts. And so I could see where he's saying that I don't want to be put in a box. And that's just like even on these job applications. A lot of times people get weeded out when they put down their race. Even though you may be a good candidate and may even be the best candidate. But sometimes we have seen, and let's just tell the truth, we have seen people in our own race get weeded out because we put down our race. And some people say they don't even put it down anymore. They say prefer not to answer. And that way when you go for the interview, if you get called and they see you, then they'll just see what race you are when you get there, right? So I can see his point of what he's saying, because he says if we spend half the time not talking about the differences but the similarities between us, the entire planet will have a shift in the way we deal with each other, the Beast actor said in the article which was published on this one Wednesday. And I have to agree with that. If we can spend more time talking about our similarities, because a lot of us as human beings have similarities, and we know we do. And a lot of times people want to always talk about the differences. The differences can be positive if you're moving towards a positive direction. But if you're talking about the differences that are negative and moving towards a negative direction, then you're never going to come together. You're never going to have that positive shift that we really need right now. We need a positive shift, not a negative shift. And we've seen so much negative shifting, it's very difficult. It can almost lead to it just being traumatized by the negative shift that we've seen. And so as humans, we are obsessed with race. And that obsession can really hinder people's aspirations and hinders people's growth. And I'm going to share that with you, something with you about that. It can hinder your aspirations because I know when my son was young, he was in second grade, he was told by a non-black student that he could not be in television or anything because he was black. And my son came home and he was upset. And he was very, very upset and pretty much traumatized by that statement because he didn't understand. And, you know, he just didn't understand that. And so he told me that, and I said, no, that's not true. You can be whatever you want to be. And I let him know that you can be what you want to be, whatever career path that you choose. You know, it takes hard work, studying, you know, and diligence and things like that, and integrity, but you can be what you want to be. So I had to sit down and his father and I and talk to him about that because he was very upset and traumatized. But you know, we have to start at teaching our children young. They can be, and they can aspire. And that almost, if I hadn't had that conversation, my son's father and I hadn't had that conversation, who's to know if his aspirations would have been hindered, or he wouldn't have pursued any type of career in life. You know, when you have people as young as 7 years old telling other children, their school peers, that they can't be something, or you know, because they're black, because of their race. And it can hinder people's growth. And they may not be willing to step out on faith and grow and continue to move forward and level up because they've been told something like that. And so he has a point in this article, and I think that a lot of us can resonate, you know, on things that have happened to us and experiences, or our children have experienced. And we as parents want the best for our children, so we have to communicate with them in a level that they can understand, and talk to them and nurture them and say, no, absolutely not true. And that is the biggest lie that has been told to black people, is they cannot be in television, they cannot be in music, or they can't be in sports. And we see the domination of, you know, success in many, many areas. And I'm just naming a few, and you can name some when you leave the comments after you watch the video. And so going on to this article, Elba said racism is very real. Yes, racism is very real. Let's say it again and say it louder for the people in the back. Racism is very real. But he says, from my perspective, it's only as powerful as you allow it to be. And that is very true. Because if you don't address it and you just harbor what has happened to you or your child and just let them be traumatized by it without nurturing them and without loving on them and encouraging them to be the best they can be, then it will stop you. It'll stop your children from growing. It will break their spirits and their aspiration. But we have got to keep it in perspective. Now, he says, I stopped describing myself as a black actor when I realized it put me in a box. Now, how many of you have felt like you are in a box? Because when you put down what your race is, or you just put down this is all you do is this right here, you are put in a box. But if you put down, I am an artist, I am creative, I am a poet, I am a musician, I am a rapper, I am this, I am that, it doesn't put you in a box. It gives you opportunities to showcase your creativity as a person, and especially a black person, right? And then he says, we've got to grow. We've got to. Our skin is no more than that. It's just skin ran over. Now, the actor who is reprising his role as Luther in the new movie Luther, The Fallen Son, said he does consider himself a member of the black community. He does consider himself that. And you say a prominent one, he told the interviewer. But when I go to America, I'm a prominent member of the British community. Oh, UK's in the house. He said he appreciates that I might be the first to look like me to do a certain thing. And that's good to leave as part of my legacy, so that other people, black kids, but also white kids growing up in the circumstances I grew up in, are able to see there was a kid who came from Canning Town who ended up doing what I do. It can be done. So he went on to explain himself. He went on to elaborate why he stopped identifying himself as a black actor. And when you look at him, we know he black. When we look at him, we see black. So that's up to him. You know, I'm not going to bash the man because I understand his point of view, just like there might be another point of view, or even a minute point of view that, well, you got to let people know you black, because we should be able to put down black and not be you know, weeded out or blacklisted. That's very true. But sometimes you have to level up, and you have to be smart to open up the doors for opportunity for yourself and for others. And he may be saying something, and he may be on to something. And like he said, it's your prerogative to identify if that's what you want to do as the race that you are or your skin tone. But however, he's doing it his way and leveling up the way he thinks that he should be able to, you know, or he will level up. So with that being said, Idris Elba, keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm not mad at you. You know, hey, people have to do what they feel that is best for them. I can't tell you what's best for you. I can't tell your story. Only you, Idris, can tell your story, just like only I can tell my story, and only this person over here can tell their story. But we do see that sometimes a lot of people try to tell somebody else's story, but I always say nobody can tell your story but you. But when you tell your story, don't be a talebearer. Tell the God-given truth story about you and your experiences. God bless you all on today. Don't forget to, I always say it, thumbs up the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. And guess what? Thank you all to my subscribers and my new subscribers. Please leave your respectful comments below. Don't forget, follow me on Instagram, OitsSharine Jewelry, StandupBcounted, and then stick with it 6 weeks. Any mode or form of exercise 3 times a week, 30 minutes a day, in 10-minute increments. It can be done. So God bless you all. Bye.